Alright, this is the Buff Shaman. This is Champions Online in the Serpent's Lantern. This is Bravo Bunker Assault. So I did Alpha Bunker Assault recording this tutorial. As you see there, I'm having a lot of problems with lag here. The video didn't record properly, and there was a lot of problems with lag, one of which caused me to die. Now I'm down 2 stars, but I only died once in this mission. The other star's down because of getting creamed in an alert. But what this tutorial is going to be is about basically picking targets, and I'm going to run through this entire bunker scenario and let you see. Now, one of the big things you want to do with these ranged characters is pick your priority targets. And when you're in a group, you're going to want to do this quickly, usually if you're single target. If you're area of effect, you can usually get away with just spamming the group of enemies. But when you're single target like Force is, it's going to be a bit more difficult. So here we got 3 melees. I believe there's 3 of them. I can only see 2, but there's usually 3 in these groups. But there's a 3rd melee. There's a way you can do this where you can get usually 2 and sometimes even 3 of these down without taking damage. And I'm going to demonstrate that here. Also, don't worry about picking the wrong targets, because picking the right targets is going to come with experience. I might be giving some commentary throughout the mission as I think of it, but mostly it's going to be demonstration purposes. Now, you might notice that I have Force Cascade down here. Don't worry about that. I will show that off a couple of times, but the person I'm making this for doesn't have that yet, and this is not energy stable for me to use yet either. Now, energy stable is a term that I use and a lot of people use for when you can use your big damage powers consistently without worrying about your energy, either truly consistently or only needing to hit with your energy builder a couple of times here and there. Now, there will be times I'm going to be hitting with my energy builder anyways, even though I don't need to, because this will knock things back. I don't need to chase them. I use that to just get a little bit of damage on there while I chase. But what you want to do is you want to pick your first target and then pick your second target. Target your first target, and as you're charging this up, hover your mouse over your second target, and as soon as you release it, click your second target and begin charging. It's going to look something like this. And as you notice, they did get that smoke bomb off before I managed to get the 3rd blast off. I did have a little bit of trouble targeting the guy running in at me. That will happen. It's not a big deal. So, alright, now these tar trappers are what I call a level 2 priority usually because of their snare. It's annoying, but it's not really dangerous. These soldiers are level 3 on the average. There's times when they're going to be moved up in level, but level 1 priority targets are ones you take out first. Those are usually going to be the melees, although in the big group like we had there with the 3 melees, there wasn't any way I was going to avoid melees. Alright, here's the chopper to drop off these enemies. These air cavalries are the same level in threat priority as the soldiers because they do about the same abilities. The only difference is they fly, and I would change that threat priority up if you were a melee, but I'm not, so here we go. Boom, 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 done. Now this bunker you're destroying these things. I targeted and blew it up, but sometimes you can't target these, so I usually don't even bother trying. Just walk up, charge up that area effect, and blast them. Alright, time to take this guy out. Now that rocket barrage had no warning. Usually they'll give you warning. Now I did not get as much damage on him while closing the distance, or keeping the distance closed, I should say, enough on him because that rocket attack did come out without warning, and unfortunately that will screw you up. Usually there's a green icon that'll come up over their heads before they fire it off, but lately I've been noticing that they'll just fire it off sometimes. Now these demolitionists, they're the same priority targets as these guys, but I usually take these guys out first just because, you know, I like the demolitionist's appearance, so it's like keep the cooler looking stuff on the screen longer. No other reason than that. This is another infiltrator group, so I'll just yeah, the biggest danger from the infiltrators is the smoke bomb, and if you get smoke bombed, you just use this and boom. Otherwise, just get out of there if you don't have that point blank area effect stuff. Alright. I did not see that tar trapper. He's gone. Alright. Thankfully, you know, he didn't get the snare off, but, you know, he could have. Alright, these red knife fighters, these are the highest, these are level 1 priorities. So I got 2 of those. The reason being they give you bleeds, which will stop you from interacting with things. It's the worst, one of the most annoying things in the game. You're sitting there trying to use a computer and you can't because you're bleeding. And realistically, if you were in there doing your mission, you know, you ain't got time to bleed. Alright, here comes the helicopter for the flying enemies. There's my active defense. Click that, and that thing will disappear when this dies. The first 2 it drops off are independent from it. Oh, never mind. I thought I was thinking that he was one of the air cavalry guys for a second there. My fault. The first 2 guys that thing drops off are independent from it. The other one, the third one, is not. If it dies, if the helicopter dies, that thing will die. Alright, here's 3 soldiers, lowest priority, and a red knife commander. So easy to figure out which one to hit first. Hopefully we can get some brickbusters and heavy demolitionists, or expert demolitionists, I think they're called, in this mission. Alright. Now, with that, I just use my active defense there to make sure I wasn't taking any damage. Made it easy to take out the boss there without worrying about anything else. I believe this one over here is... Yep. Now you do have to take out all the enemies in these bases generally before you attack the main guy, or they will all come running to assist. It can be quite fun to do on a... oh. Can't get the target around the... Might as well finish this off. There was no way there I was going to get that tar trapper before. I was able to kill him before he did his debuff, but still. Now, the reason I don't prioritize these melee guys there is because I have an easy way of dealing with the group of them, and it's a way that has the potential to kill several of them, if not all of them, in one go. So it, the rewards outweigh the risks on it. The reason why you want to, especially later on, do that quick target and kill is because with force characters, you have a high demand for energy, and which means you need 2 energy unlock, or energy super stats rather, to run effectively. Unfortunately, that leaves you without constitution for a defensive. Now, if you wanted to go slightly more defensive, you could do dexterity as a super stat instead of ego, but it's a little bit more complicated design. And I'm doing this for simplicity, so ego's good for simplicity. Alright, that golden nest leader. I didn't realize he was double health until after I'd already blown up the tanks, but nothing came of it. Alright, now usually what I'll do with these double health guys, even though they are a higher priority threat, usually these guys together will deal more damage than they will by themselves. So if you can take these guys out quickly, you just have the one threat to deal with, because they usually will survive one of your blasts, and you know, oftentimes a couple of them. Crits are nice, they can really cut that down, but they usually don't count on it right now. Now you do want to take these guys out also because they are, just like the other ones, going to assist the base commander. Now I will demonstrate Forest Cascade on this guy real quick. See, there's the green icon I was telling you about for the missiles. He's got another missile barrage coming out, but sometimes it'll come out right away. If it doesn't, I try and get a good hit in before it does again. But that, without warning, that's the worst thing when fighting them. The power armor guys, when they do the missile barrages without warning and knock you down. I want to try real quick. Never mind, I was going to try and hit it, but it's moving too high up and I didn't take out the AA stuff. Not really a big deal. Once again, over the wall, skipping, not once again, just over the wall. He's skipping unnecessary fights, really. Do that for the interest of doing it quickly. Just surprised how quick some of my characters can run through these because they avoid fights, especially tunnelers or ninja vanish users, teleporters. They can really get through these fights. Okay, there's a munitions expert. So once again, these guys together will deal more damage than him by himself, so it's easy to take these guys out. Because of the higher health and the time it takes to take him out. Now the big thing is, if you're a single target character, the way Force is, or effectively single target, because even though Force Cascade is a cone, if you will, it's not really a good cone, it's a symmetrical, narrow beam more than a cone. And while you can take out enemies lined up pretty good, you're not going to find that very often. Not unless you force it. And it's easier to do that with a tank than it is. I didn't mean to engage that. I thought I had enough distance to not be seen. Now see that graphic, that split beam? That's a bug. Sometimes you'll shoot a blast off and it won't do the graphic for it, but it'll do the damage, and the next beam you do within a few seconds will do the graphic of both of them. It's not a double blast, but that would be a nice little advantage to add, a potential to split beam. Here's a good spot for this. See how I took both of them out? It doesn't work very well. Watch, I'll use it the same attack on here. Force Cascade, and only hits the one guy. It's because it's very narrow. I was gonna say there, due to limited range, it's kind of hard to get the lined up target sometimes just right, but I was gonna try it, but since yeah, I wasn't ready to switch targets with that because I was trying to explain something. But yeah, sometimes they wander out of alignment. Oh, I thought this was going to be a 3 infiltrator, so I wasn't paying attention there. Yeah, that was a mistake I made. So like I said, don't worry about making mistakes. You're going to make them. It's okay. You'll adapt, and you'll learn. Not sure if that infiltrator's part of his group or not, so I'll just assume find out by experimentation. And I'm not sure which one is their group leader, so I'll just start taking them out. Easy enough solution. And now we're about to do the boss. Now here's a little trick. You got, let's just say, for argument's sake, you had 8 stacks of concentration. One of the really neat tricks with Force is that this PBAE doesn't even have to hit anything. Fully charged, it will refresh your stacks. Of course, I'm spending it more than it needs to be here because I'm trying to explain why I'm doing it. There are 8 stacks, and that'll maximize my damage on this guy. So I'm gonna do one more recharge on the stacks. Freon, you're gonna like having this PBAE thing here. See when he does that blizzard on you? It'll placate you. But you can still hit him. He did a lot of damage to me there. I should have hit my active defense earlier. Look, he gave me a lot of stuff there. I'm not complaining about that. Alright, so that is Bunker Bravo. Hopefully you learned some things. Chris, don't worry about Forest Cascade yet. Eventually you'll get there. And in terms of gear, you're going to want to try and keep... I know I got this gear here, this heirloom gear, but on this character, by the time I hit level 21, I had sent enough Questionite to buy full sets of other variable gear over to other characters. So I'll make another video describing variable gear later, but you should be able to gear pretty effectively just running these missions with the gear that drops in the mission, starting at level 10. Now, you should probably try and keep a little bit above, like, maybe 60% of your primary super stat. You should keep your ego and endurance within that to try and keep yourself energy stable. That's about all I have for this video. Thank you.